What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games. In today's video, I have shiny hunted every single Pokemon in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, including the Teal Mask DLC. And today, I'm going to be rating the top 10 worst shiny hunts that I did in this game. There are some absolutely disgusting hunts that you have to do in this game to complete the shiny living dex, and we're gonna rate them all here. And of course, guys, like this type of content, enjoy these videos, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. Consider supporting the channel by joining the Pan Fam by hitting that join channel member button below. Starting off with number 10, and that is Baros. Now, this Pokemon was incredibly hard to hunt before the Teal Mask DLC. In the base game, especially before the mass outbreak update that made it so more mass outbreaks would spawn on the field, Baros was an absolute menace because it would naturally only spawn in spots where Paldea Wooper was, so you would always be fighting for spawns, and the mass outbreak was relatively rare. Now, when you did find a decent spot for Baros, it had the water type curse of having broken outbreaks spawning within the water or within walls, which was always very devastating. And personally, this was my longest shiny hunt out of all the other ones, as it took me 11 sandwiches to get my second Baros. Now, in the Teal Mask DLC, they actually rectified this. If you do go to the Feebas cave with a ground type sandwich, you can actually very easily manipulate this shiny hunt and very easily hunt it now. So I'm glad they fixed it, but when I was out there, it was brutal. Number 9 is Tandem Mouse. Now, this Pokemon is incredibly annoying to shiny hunt. Even in the base game, there wasn't a great area to shiny hunt for it. Yes, it can spawn in mass outbreaks. However, this Pokemon is so hard to identify its shiny. You have to be right up close to it to see that it has a different pair of clothes on it for its shiny color. I wish it wasn't just a white shiny versus like blue body and brown body like closing pattern on it. I wish they made the mouse like completely black, or maybe made it like red or something like that, something that was obvious so you don't have to literally inspect every single one with the Switch's zoom camera function. But at least in the Teal Mask, there is a phenomenal town reset method to shiny hunt for it. There's also other great ways to isolate shiny hunt it for it in the Teal Mask. But even then, I just found it easier for me to run up to every single mouse, auto battle it, and just hope we get the shiny. Number 8 is going to be the Palon Starters, because you can only get these guys shiny by hatching them, and we're doing a shiny living dex. You're gonna have to hatch 9 shiny starters. Now, shiny hunting with eggs isn't my favorite in general, but I do believe it is the worst in Scarlet and Violet. The fact that you have to set up a sandwich and then sit around your picnic basket and then mash A every couple of minutes to get a bunch of eggs, like 60 to 70 eggs in every 30 minutes, and then you got to go around and hatch them, just makes the process very tedious and very long, and the game does not have a mass delete option. Luckily, with the Pokemon Home update, you can at the very least use a mass delete option in Home to remove all the rejects that you made. But overall, it's not a great method, and I hope they improve it in future Pokemon games. Number 7 is Spiritomb, and just like number 8, it has all the same issues of the hatching process is not fun, but it did get improved with Pokemon Home adding mass deletion to Scarlet and Violet. But it's still not fun to hatch the eggs, but also there is a red herring with Spiritomb, as 3 Spiritombs will spawn on the map, but they are static spawns. Yes, they can be shiny, but they cannot be affected by sandwiches or the shiny charm. So if you did get a wild shiny Spiritomb, that is a full odd shiny, and I know a lot of people are trying to get those, and that is honestly too brutal for me, so I just rather hunt these with eggs at the end of the day. Number 6 is Feebas, and Feebas is incredibly annoying to shiny hunt in this game because it only spawns in one cave in the Teal Mask. Now, this outbreak is incredibly hard to get, and the worst part is there is a good outbreak and a bad outbreak. Now, if you get the bad outbreak, it's still possible to shiny hunt the Feebas there, but it is so much harder than the good outbreak. Now, if you get the good outbreak, you need to know the exact position to be in order to best manipulate the outbreak spawns. And once you figure that out, you'll be good to go. Of course, the only way to figure that out is if you looked it up by maybe watching one of my videos when I did the Feebas hunt. Now, if you want to get a female shiny Feebas, that's even harder because that's only like a 12.5% chance of getting. So this hunt is absolutely brutal. And for some people, it might be easier just to do an egg hunt because the outbreak is so annoying to get. Coming in at number 5 is Poliwag, which you can only hunt in the Teal Mask DLC. And it's a fairly common outbreak, even though sometimes I do have difficulty spotting it myself. And there is a Poliwag cave that you can isolate shiny hunt for it with a water level 3 sandwich. But the issue with this cave is, one, this cave does not give you a lot of spawns. You get like 6 spawns at once. Sometimes you get Poliwhirls as well, which is much easier to shiny hunt. And number 2, the Poliwag shiny, as you can see on the screen, is pretty much not possible to tell the difference, especially with the lighting in this game. So in my opinion, your best bet to shiny hunt this is just go to an outbreak and knock out 60 and then save your game and knock out the rest and just hope you get a shiny. It's pretty much the same problem I have with Tandem Mouse, but at the very least, when I look at Tandem Mouse closely, I can tell the difference. With Poliwag, I cannot tell the difference whatsoever, so it truly feels like I'm shiny hunting without any eyes. And then at number 4 is Igglybuff, and the main issue of this Pokemon is impossible to tell between its shiny and its non-shiny. Yes, it can spawn in mass outbreaks. However, those mass outbreaks are relatively rare. So you can either spend your time trying to get the mass outbreak, or you can try to shiny hunt it in one location where you can actually isolate shiny hunt it, which is pretty good. But of course, most people wouldn't know this if they weren't looking up YouTube guides and things like that. Now, it's one of those Pokemon where you cannot really tell it at all. It's a pretty small Pokemon. It can be annoying and float around as well. And it's overall just a big pain to shiny hunt for this little balloon. Coming in at number 3 is Sunkern. Now, this was the first problematic Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet that I experienced. 1, this Pokemon does not have a mass outbreak. 2, it only spawns in the beginning of the game area. And 3, it only spawned on flower patches. And 4, there were enough static sunkern spawns where it was confusing to see if that was actually a real sunkern that you can shiny hunt or if it was just a full odd static spawn. So all of this combined made this a devastating hunt. Now, the worst case is when they updated mass outbreaks, they did not add sunkern to the pool. I still have not seen one. So the best way to shiny hunt for this thing is pretty much go to one of these flower patches with a grass type sandwich and then walk up, knock out the sunkern, and then walk back to have another one spawn in. And you're pretty much getting 1 or 2 sunkerns each time this happens. So it's an incredibly slow method of auto battling, and it's such a brutal hunt that you might be better off with egg hatch. Number 2 is White St Basculin, and I really do not like this hunt. So 1, it does not have a mass outbreak. It is not in the code. 2, it only spawns in one small pond in the entire game, which is very annoying. And of course, because it spawns in a pond, there are other water types. And since it's a mono water type, you don't really want to use an encounter sandwich, as pretty much every other water type is going to take priority in the spawn list. You have to deal with Woopers, you're going to have to deal with Choodles, and you're going to have to deal with Lotads and Lombres who spawn on the land as well. And because it's such a small little pond, you can't even get a full 15 spawn of just water types, as you're going to be getting other Pokemon spawning in the area as well. And you're probably going to be getting about 3 to 6 Basculin spawns each time you reset. And you can either picnic reset, or you can try to knock out each one and then come back. Of course, it can rain in the area, which affects the lag as well. And honestly, you may just be better off going with a hatching method. Worst case scenario for the living shiny decks, you definitely want to get 3 of these. You want one for the White Stripe Basculin, and there are 2 different variants of Basculegion. There is going to be the male and the female version, which both have different shiny colors and different stats, and I really do not like this hunt. And number 1 is Ditto. Now, Ditto is the worst shiny hunt in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, bar none. 1, Ditto does not have any real outbreaks that work. 2, Ditto cannot be hatched from eggs. So you have one location in the game that is the most optimal for shiny hunting Ditto, but it is still a disastrous spot. With a normal type sandwich, or me getting Tandem Mouse and Meowths, and I ended up getting so many shiny Meowths, even a shiny Tandem Mouse, before I got my shiny Ditto in 9 sandwiches, which was a process that took me 2 days, and it was absolutely grueling. Ditto does have a couple of tells, and the main one is it will always be a max size Pokemon, but honestly, looking for max size Meowths and Tandem Mouses is really hard considering they're already pretty small Pokemon, and it's not like Zorua where you can just isolate shiny hunt for it by just going for single spawn my bosses, which is why it's not even included on the list, because I think that is a relatively easy shiny hunt. But Ditto is just on a whole nother level, because you truly don't know what you're going for. You just gotta auto battle essentially every single Pokemon that you see in this small little zone at the lighthouse. And that is my top 10 least favorite worst hunts for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, including the Teal Mask DLC. Let me know what shiny hunts that you despise the most from this game in the comment section below. And of course, guys, like this type of content, enjoy these videos, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a great one.